Hey, this is Fay, and today we're gonna draw somebody while I talk about something. Yeah, specific, I know. Well, the thing is, I have this idea of where I want this to go, and I think I want to talk about the YouTube side of Final Fantasy and how it has helped me. But we'll see if I can stay on topic with this. But first off, allow me to introduce you to the character that I will be drawing, because this may not be readily clear from the damn stick figures that I'm trying to fail faster with here. So this is Sinkweaver, and on the off chance that you don't already know who he is one of the lore enthusiasts that actually made me feel like I could have an MMO home in Final Fantasy. Because, like you might have heard me mention before, my concern with joining Final Fantasy XIV was actually that I, for some reason, felt like the game didn't have any lore. Thing is, I came in from Star Wars The Old Republic, where all the lore you might ever want or need was just shoved down your throat from the voice to Miss Q, or you'd read the novels or played the games, or been on the expanded wiki, or gee, I don't know, watched some of the massive movies and series, I guess. But yeah, there were plenty of lore, and it was very easily accessible, even to people who might not feel like picking up a book or go out of their way to seek it out. So yeah, coming into Eorzea from there, I got what may be qualifying as a lore-related culture shock, because in Final Fantasy, you couldn't really figure out, for instance, how common magic was or how it worked just from running around talking to people, because, you know, just like if this was in the real world, when you talk to people and you ask them, they will tell you what they know, which makes sense, but in a way, it felt a little bit bare, and for a moment there, it felt like the lore was just lacking, or that people behind the scenes hadn't really cared enough to make the decision on how things actually worked and tell us, which is entirely off from where I'm standing right now and all of the lore that I know now and have also experienced through the game. But when I came into the game, that was how it felt. But honestly, there are few games that can compete with Final Fantasy XIV when it comes to dense lore and world building, so yeah. But the thing is, it just wasn't very accessible to get a very good full picture, I felt. Like, I got the lore book as a gift for my birthday from my partner, best partner ever, by the way. And I was so happy and gleeful, and I danced around myself, and I was thinking, now I'm gonna learn about this world and I'm gonna feel super smart. And then I realized that my brain just really does not pick up new knowledge of a field very well if it hasn't got the single first clue of what it's reading about. It is like it needs to spend time just building up a net of ground understanding in order to just, I don't know, catch on to the most basics of insights. And it did not also help that I started straight into some Urianger levels of abstract stuff with the 6 nativities and myriad creation, a description of the elements, and I realized that I needed a base understanding of something more of the world before I could really get into the more detailed stuff and it would actually make sense to me. I needed a higher vantage point to serve for me to see which direction I was wandering in. Enter the heroes of YouTube. My FC mates were kind enough to point me to a few of the big game and lore enthusiasts, and I got directed to Mr. Happy, some of his older stuff, which is also lore based, and Ethos, some of his speculations and his lore tours. And through their content, I found people like Lokiel and Sinkweaver. And boy oh boy did this make it a lot easier. And so I began to feel more like the world of Hydaelyn was a known factor to me and that this could be an MMO home. And especially synth stuff helped me here because he summarized topics that I was interested in ways that could keep my squirrel attention staying on the topic. He is a really chill and fun guy who runs this channel where he streams and occasionally uploads a lore video that is going through a certain topic in a concise, elaborate and accessible way. His content is well written and it's nicely altering between eloquent parlance and fun and snarky little jabs at characters or story elements. And I guess that pacing just works in my opinion, or well, it works for me at the very least. Add to that he's just usually pretty damn friendly and relaxed. So why, Faye, you may ask, are you then trying, and maybe failing, to make a drawing of him in an angry Dark Knight charge pose? Well, this is a super relevant question, but I just happened to catch him on a stream about Borgia. And first of all, it was pretty damn cool to just sit back and have somebody else narrate and play the actual story for you and figure out how the damn thing worked. Because then when I came into it, I could sort of be all like to my FC mates, oh, by the way, you can change class anywhere. Yes, I know this. No, I have never been here before. I am just that brilliant. But secondly, it was also really funny to see this otherwise super chill guy just go all in with running from fate to fate with the sword drawn and just try to catch credit for contribution with these fates because everything just went so damn fast. There were so many people in the instance, so it was hard to get full credit or just partial credit for the damn things. And just seeing him running around and shouting, I want credit, or give me credit, or mine, and it just became this battle roar, and that kind of stuck in my brain. Maybe because it clashed so hard with his usual self. So I am really sorry, Zinc, but I may do a more fitting picture of him at some point, but for today, I am gonna try to push myself in terms of pose and just draw that picture, or well, as close as I can get to it, that got stuck in my brain that day. Now, as some of you may know, I started my YouTube channel because I was starting to almost have a macro for explaining Mutamix to people. And this is gonna be a tangent, I can feel, but let's just talk about it anyway. So, I started randomly explaining this to people. I literally felt like I became that person knocking on your door going, have you heard of Mutamix, our Lord and Savior? And it started with my FC mates, then their friends, taking them to the desert with some materia and getting them to try for themselves how easy it was. And then just, I became the biggest hype girl for the goblin and I reached out to strangers trying to help them too. Like, for instance, if people were overmelting things in Ishgard and got madly disappointed because they lost for several 100,000 gil worth of materia, I would whisper them and say, hey, if you have some spare time and some spare materia that you picked up somewhere, you can go to the desert and turn these into crafting and gathering materia, you know? And then I had to explain how the system works in whispers. I guess I felt bad because I knew I was one of those people that had materia up on the market board and my pile of gil was just starting to grow and not stop anytime soon. And so eventually I figured I would make a video so that I would have that link that I could toss at people instead of explaining it. But to be fair, I've only really done this once or twice because I'm far too self-conscious about the damn thing to actually hand it to people. Because it feels like self-promotion, so I'm still stuck explaining this in whispers. So, you know, this is a strategy that seemed really smart when I thought of it, but it didn't actually pan out in reality. A lot of my strategies work out like that. Oh well. However, a lot of people still found the video regardless, and a lot more than I ever thought would. But yeah, I digress. Anyways, I realized that it was fun doing video stuff, and while I never in a million years expected that I would get more than just my free company friends to this channel, I thought that I would just do some lore stuff. Also because I have been known to put people to sleep and help them relax or stop their anxiety attacks, and so I figured maybe I could combine that with my interest in teaching people about the lore of the game that I love so much. My channel is now way bigger than I ever wanted it to be. Don't get me wrong, I am super amazingly grateful for all of you guys for having found this channel, but this was never the plan and I'm not geared for it. But I also realized this frightening thing. My channel is actually not that much smaller than the big Final Fantasy channels out there. And this kind of broke my brain for a moment. So, for field of reference, I have a friend who does YouTube professionally in the League of Legends part of YouTube. He has been working his way up for many years, and I recall back when he was starting out. He is not a huge channel in their ecosystem, and he mostly talks about character design, which he analyzes and breaks down, really good stuff, but a smaller channel, and yet he is still nearing the 100,000 subscribers. Some of our biggest names in the Final Fantasy XIV community cannot even come close to this. The official channel almost only have 4 times as many subscribers as my friend. This is insane. And it made me think of a thing that somebody way smarter than me said a while back. Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have a big presence on YouTube. I don't know why. Maybe some of you guys know and you can enlighten me in the comments. But when I look at different games' official channel pages, Final Fantasy XIV is actually quite small. And maybe the game isn't pushed much on YouTube in the algorithm, maybe MMOs in general aren't, because World of Warcraft isn't that much. It is not the huge powerhouse I thought it would be on YouTube either. But still, even so, this Final Fantasy XIV's official site, shouldn't this have more views? Shouldn't this have more subscribers? I've certainly found it very hard to find creators that I didn't already know about, so maybe there is something with the YouTube algorithm, I don't know. And still, even though there aren't that many subscribers and there aren't that many views and there isn't that much attention to be gotten here, we have a lot of wonderful people who put their heart and soul into making fun and engaging content for us. Stuff that takes time out of their day and energy out of the system, and people are just so passionate about the game, even though it would be strategically smarter to maybe pick another title and just go for a game that had a bigger YouTube presence. And so, I guess my Fay thoughts of the day would be that I think it would be cool if we showed those creators a little more love. The Final Fantasy community may be small, but when I think about it, I am always amazed at how loyal and warm and accepting and supportive we are. We make up for our numbers with our support. And for a community this small, we are truly lucky to have so many talented people that are still interested in making so high quality content for us. So, as a Christmas gift to me, I would really love if you would go out and find a content creator you didn't know about, or who doesn't know that you know them, and just leave a comment on one of their videos. And please don't make it an asshole comment, but maybe just comment about that you've seen their stuff and maybe even what you liked about it. And I swear, you're gonna make their day. You might even make their week. And as a Christmas gift to somebody else, point me in the direction of creators that I might not know. I love finding people that I don't know and see what they have made, and I love to support them in what I feel that they do well. And who knows, hopefully I will be able to make their day too. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and have a really wonderful holiday. Bye.